It was supposed to be the weekend of their lives. 20 teenagers had followed rumors of a secret forest party outside a small U.S. town. The gravel road ahead vanished into a misty darkness, headlights slicing through fog like knives. Jenna, the group's unofficial leader, stepped out first. The air was unnaturally still. Branches swayed without wind, and shadows stretched longer than they should. Laughter echoed faintly from deeper in the trees, distant but intoxicating. Her friends rushed ahead, drawn to the golden glow of firelight and music, ignoring the prickling unease. Something watched from the darkness. It didn't move, but it was there, patient, silent. The forest seemed alive, aware, waiting. The teens laughed and joked, oblivious to the weight pressing in from the shadows. Tonight, the line between fun and terror would vanish. The clearing was alive. A massive bonfire roared, casting golden light on the dancing, laughing teens. Music pulsed from hidden speakers, intoxicating and loud. Drinks spilled, laughter echoed, but the forest didn't participate. From the edges, shadows watched. Some teens joked about hearing footsteps. Max, the quiet one, squinted toward the trees. A figure had vanished the instant he blinked. Nervous glances were exchanged. Even in the brightness of the fire, corners of the forest were unnaturally dark. The air smelled of smoke and damp earth, but underneath, there was something metallic, almost alive. Every crackle of the fire seemed to hide a whisper. Every rustle of leaves felt intentional. The night was thick with expectation and dread. A few dared to venture deeper, flashlights in trembling hands. They started a game of hide and seek. Every step into the underbrush felt wrong. Roots twisted like hands, branches clawed at clothing. Jenna's flashlight flickered. Something crouched, watching. When she called, nothing answered. Laughter became nervous giggles. Giggles became quiet mutters. The forest seemed to shift, swallowing paths, elongating shadows, and whispering their names. One teen tripped over a root and screamed. Nothing was there. The darkness became an entity, alive, breathing, patient. Every rustle could be a friend, or something else entirely. Tyler wandered toward a creek, joking about hidden caves. Minutes passed, he didn't return. Mia went to fetch water and vanished too. Panic began to spread. Jenna called for everyone to regroup, but the forest seemed to swallow voices. The laughter from earlier now felt brittle, hollow. Whispers threaded through the trees, soft but insistent. The teens' energy shifted from excitement to fear. Every tree now seemed alive, every shadow a threat. It wasn't just the dark, it was the anticipation of something beyond sight. The forest was patient, waiting to claim its next victim. Near the creek, Jenna found Tyler's backpack, torn and muddy. The ground around it was disturbed, like someone, or something, had dragged him. No footprints let out. The teens called, ran, tried phones, nothing. Signals dead. Even moonlight seemed weak, bending around the dense canopy. The forest had become predator, and every heartbeat was a warning. Each snap of a twig was amplified. Every movement in shadows twisted their perception. What was imagination? What was real? They couldn't tell. Darkness thickened. Screams split the night. The bonfire, once a beacon, was gone. Paths twisted endlessly, forest rearranging itself. Then they saw it. A faceless figure standing perfectly still between the trees. It didn't move, but its presence pressed on their minds, heavy and undeniable. Panic gripped them. Footsteps echoed too loud, too fast, yet they went nowhere. Some teens ran, others froze. The forest stretched and twisted. By midnight, only half remained together, their fear mirrored in every rustle of leaves and glimmer of moonlight. Survivors began seeing impossible things. Shadows moved independently of light. Faces appeared in hollows of trees, whispering their names. Paranoia shattered trust. Friends accused each other of hiding victims. The forest thrived on their fear. Every heartbeat echoed unnaturally. Every whispered name sounded closer than the last. By dawn, some were screaming into nothing, eyes wild. The line between predator and imagination had collapsed. The forest wasn't just a place. It was a presence, alive and relentless. Jenna led the few remaining toward a faint road. Trees shifted unnaturally, paths looping back. Relief flickered. Lights of a car appeared in the distance. Closer, they saw it was old, rusted, abandoned. Not a single footprint around it. The forest's quiet chuckle pressed in. Escape had been a lie or a trap. Some ran blindly, some froze. Every instinct screamed danger, but every path was a maze. Time warped. Space warped. Reality had thinned. Jinnah stumbled into the nearby town as the sun rose. The others were gone. No footprints, no memory of a party. Only whispers followed her in the wind. She knew the truth. The forest was alive, patient, and hungry. Townsfolk would remember nothing, but teenagers would whisper of vanished parties and faceless watchers. Somewhere deep in the woods, laughter continued, muted, distant, eternal. The forest had claimed them all. Jinnah barely caught her breath in town, but the forest wasn't finished. The wind carried faint laughter, distant yet unmistakable, curling around street corners like a memory she couldn't escape. Her phone buzzed, text messages from the missing friends, but when she opened them, the screens were blank. Something moved in the peripheral shadows of alleyways, too fluid, too silent to be human. Every instinct screamed to run, but every street looked identical, stretching endlessly. The town itself seemed to twist, streets elongating and curving unnaturally. A sudden snap behind her made her spin. Nothing, but a shadow lingered in the fog, faceless and patient. The forest's reach extended beyond its borders. Jinnah realized this nightmare was no longer confined to the woods. It followed, persistent, inevitable. Jinnah ducked into an abandoned convenience store, heart hammering. The fluorescent lights flickered, casting long, unnatural shadows across broken shelves. Every rustle of debris sounded like footsteps, every echo a threat. She wasn't alone. Faces emerged in reflections, but none were her own. The missing friends' voices whispered, calling her name, some pleading, some laughing cruelly. Every mirror, every glass pane, became a trap, showing things that shouldn't exist. From the corners, shadows crept forward, forming humanoid shapes without features. They moved deliberately, silently, circling. Jinnah realized running wouldn't save her. Only confrontation, or surrender, remained. The forest's predators had followed her into the town, unbound, unseen, patient. Jinnah barely caught her breath in town, but the forest wasn't finished. The wind carried faint laughter, distant yet unmistakable, curling around street corners like a memory she couldn't escape. Her phone buzzed, text messages from the missing friends, but when she opened them, the screens were blank. Something moved in the peripheral shadows of alleyways, too fluid, too silent to be human. Every instinct screamed to run, but every street looked identical, stretching endlessly. The town itself seemed to twist, streets elongating and curving unnaturally. A sudden snap behind her made her spin. Nothing, but a shadow lingered in the fog, faceless and patient. The forest's reach extended beyond its borders. Jinnah realized this nightmare was no longer confined to the woods. It followed, persistent, inevitable. Weeks passed. Jinnah didn't talk about that night, but the silence around her was unnatural. People she knew began to act off. Her roommates stared at the wall for hours. Her professor paused mid-sentence, eyes unfocused, whispering, "Do you hear them?" At night, the wind outside her apartment carried a rhythm, like laughter echoing from miles away. She tried recording it once. The playback wasn't the wind. It was her friends' voices, calling her name, layered with a low hum like something breathing through static. When she looked out the window, the tree line had moved closer. Every morning, it was a few feet nearer. The forest was expanding, quietly reclaiming everything it touched. One night, she woke to find dirt under her fingernails, forest soil. The sound of leaves whispered from inside her apartment. The realization hit. She hadn't